They told us to pray for change, but they never taught us the true laws that govern it. They told us to endure suffering with grace, but they never revealed that suffering can be optional if the mind is mastered. We were given minds forged in fire, with infinite potential carved into every thought. And yet most of us crawl through life like forgotten shadows, confused, lost, and docile. Why? Because no one warned us of the greatest lie ever told, that we are weak. No, we are not weak. We have been weakened, and that is a very different thing. We have been drowned in noise, programmed with chaos, fed illusions until we forgot our own reflection. But deep within us, beneath the distractions, beneath the fears, beneath the whispers of doubt, lies a force more terrifying and more magnificent than any empire the world has ever built. The mind. Not the brain, not the flesh, not the chemical impulses that twitch our fingers and race our hearts, but the true mind, the seed of creation, the conscious and the subconscious. Two realms. One commands, one obeys, one chooses, one builds. The conscious mind is the watchman at the gate. It sees, it reasons, it discriminates. It has the power of choice. But the subconscious, that is the machine of destiny. It never questions, it never sleeps, it never argues. It creates, endlessly. It is the sculptor of your world, the engineer of your fate. And the moment your conscious mind stops guarding the gate, the subconscious accepts whatever it is given, truth or lie, faith or fear, love or hatred, and it begins building. This is not philosophy. This is not some fluffy motivational chant. This is law. Thought is energy. Active thought is active energy. Concentrated thought is concentrated energy. And thought, directed with purpose, becomes power. Power to alter your health. Power to shape your surroundings. Power to command your reality like a general on the battlefield of the unseen. You felt it. That flicker of clarity. That moment when everything aligns, and you know, without a doubt, what must be done. That moment comes from the subconscious. And that power, it's always there. But most never wield it. Why? Because their conscious mind is a drunk gatekeeper, easily fooled, easily distracted, open to the suggestions of panic, of fear, of anger, of greed, of worthlessness. They think they're thinking, but they're not. They're reacting. And reaction is slavery. You want freedom? Then earn it. You must begin to think with intent. You must forge your thoughts into weapons. You must train your conscious mind like a soldier trains for war. Because war is exactly what this is. A war for your mind. A war for your reality. Every single second, the world is fighting to program you, to feed your subconscious impressions that enslave you, weaken you, kill you slowly and with a smile. Commercials, media, false beliefs passed down like a disease from generation to generation. You must rise above it. You must become the watchman, uncompromising, unflinching, deadly. Because once your conscious mind regains control, you will no longer be a servant to your emotions, your environment, or your past. You will become sovereign. Understand this. Your subconscious does not sleep. It does not wait. It is working right now, constructing your future out of the materials you've given it, the thoughts you dwell on, the feelings you permit, the ideas you accept without proof. You are the architect of your own destruction, or the engineer of your own empire. And here's the terrifying part. You cannot turn this process off. You can only take control. The laws do not pause because you're tired. The subconscious does not stop because you're scared. Creation continues. The only question is, are you creating with intent or letting chaos shape your life for you? The great ones, Shakespeare, Beethoven, Michelangelo, they did not beg for inspiration. They tapped directly into this force. Their subconscious minds were tuned instruments, guided by the unwavering hand of a focused, trained consciousness. They commanded, and the power obeyed. That same force lies dormant in you, waiting. So stop whining about potential. Stop romanticizing suffering. There is no virtue in poverty. There is no glory in weakness. These are lies the powerless tell themselves to feel comfortable in their cages. And you were not born to be caged. You were born to command. But command requires discipline. And discipline begins with thought. You must learn to still the noise. You must begin to observe your mind like a hawk watches its prey. Sit in silence. Master your thoughts. Break the habit of mental weakness. Because your subconscious is the seed of habit. And what you do, what you think, over and over becomes law. If you think fear, you become fear. If you dwell in lack, you create lack. If you worship chaos, chaos will rule you. But if you train your thoughts, if you saturate your subconscious with visions of strength, victory, peace, and abundance, it will obey. And it will begin to build a world in alignment with that vision. This is not faith. This is law. So hear this and remember. Your subconscious is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally. But it is a force that must be respected. It cannot argue. It cannot judge. It simply creates. Which means you are responsible. Every result in your life, you attracted. Every limit in your mind, you allowed. Every cage, you built. But the moment you take command, everything changes. You will walk into a room, and the room will shift. You will speak, and the world will bend. You will face chaos, and it will obey. Not because you're special, but because you finally remembered who the hell you are. The watchman, the architect, the wielder of thought, the creator of destiny. So stand up. Stand up inside your mind. This is not just a game. This is your life. And if you don't master it, something else will. Take your seat at the gate. Direct your thoughts like arrows. Command your subconscious like a king commands an army. And never forget, you are not here to beg the universe for scraps. You are here to build it in your image. Lesson 1. Know thy mind. The two forces within. We were born with fire in our minds and chains around our ankles. From the moment we could think, the world began filling our heads with noise. Distractions, lies, opinions dressed as truth, weakness disguised as virtue. But deep under the surface of the noise, beneath the confusion, there are only two powers that govern your entire reality: the conscious mind, the subconscious mind. Until you understand the difference, you are not free. You are not in control. You are not awake. You are merely reacting to a world you never claimed as your own. The conscious mind, the watchman. This is your gatekeeper. The conscious mind is your faculty of reason. It is your ability to choose. It is the spotlight in the darkness, the only part of your mind that is self-aware. It analyzes. It questions. It decides. It is the part of you that hears the thoughts in your head and can say, "No, I don't believe that. That's not my truth." But here's the tragedy. Most people never train the conscious mind. They allow it to grow soft, distracted, sedated. They let it sleep at the gate. And when that happens, the kingdom falls. Because while your conscious mind sleeps, your subconscious mind obeys. The subconscious mind, builder. This is the power behind the curtain. It never questions. It never analyzes. It never stops. It simply creates. The subconscious accepts whatever is handed to it, whether by intention or by accident. It does not care if it's a lie, if it's fear, if it's weakness, if it's rage. It simply begins building with the material it's given. You believe you're not good enough? The subconscious says, understood. Constructing a life to match. You've accepted that success is for other people. The subconscious says, got it. Shaping your fate accordingly. This is why so many suffer in silence. They don't even realize that the very reality they despise is a blueprint they themselves signed off on. The truth no one tells you. Your life, right now, is the result of what your subconscious has been ordered to build. And most of those orders, you didn't give them consciously. They were whispered into your mind when the watchman was asleep, through media, through trauma, through childhood conditioning, through repetition and emotion. And now, the structures have hardened into habits, into beliefs, into your reality. You didn't get here by chance. You got here by law. No, not the law of man, the law of mind. And the law is this: the conscious mind commands, the subconscious mind obeys, and the world aligns to the subconscious blueprint. Action steps. Begin the awakening. This week, your mission is not to change anything yet, not to rewrite your past, not to visualize a brighter future. Your mission is to wake up. Observe your thought patterns. For the next 7 days, keep a small notebook with you. Every time you catch a negative thought, self-doubt, fear, shame, guilt, write it down. Then ask yourself, did I choose this thought? Or did I just accept it? Identify your automatic reactions. Track moments when you feel emotional spikes. Anger, anxiety, panic, jealousy. What triggered them? Were they conscious responses or subconscious reflexes? Label the mind in action. When you make a choice, ask yourself, is this the watchman speaking or the builder reacting? By the end of the week, you will begin to see the dividing line, the separation between you and your programming. This awareness alone is a weapon, because you cannot take the kingdom back until you know who's been ruling it. Lesson 2. Guard the gate. Become the watchman. You've now seen the battlefield. You've identified the two forces warring inside of you: the conscious mind, which can choose, and the subconscious mind, which obeys. But knowledge without discipline is a loaded weapon in the hands of a child. And most people never grow up. They live and die with minds wide open, vulnerable, programmable, corruptible. That ends now. Because this lesson is not about awareness. This lesson is about war. The enemy is at the gate. Every second of every day, your mind is under siege. Every image, every comment, every careless word, every sound, every subtle message, every emotion-laced lie is a knock on the gate of your subconscious mind. And if your conscious mind, the watchman, is not on duty, that gate opens. And when it opens, impressions pass through. They don't ask for permission. They don't knock twice. They enter. They plant seeds. They build. You don't realize what you're allowing in until it's too late. This isn't just about positivity. This is about psychic survival. You don't get to complain about fear if you've been feeding your mind a diet of chaos. You don't get to scream about poverty if you let the world program you to believe money is evil. You don't get to cry about your weakness while drinking poison from the hands of fools. No. You are either a gatekeeper or you are a prisoner. There is no in-between. What you accept, you become. The subconscious mind cannot reject. It accepts whatever is given, especially what is repeated with emotion. That's why a single statement from a parent or teacher in your childhood, "You're not smart," "You'll never make it," "You don't matter," can echo in your head for decades. That's why propaganda works. That's why advertising works. That's why fear spreads like wildfire in weak minds. And that's why you must become a ruthless guard. The characteristics of the watchman. The watchman is not passive. He is not polite. He is not soft. The watchman is a killer. He recognizes danger in disguise. He filters all incoming impressions through the blade of logic and will. He asks, "Does this serve the vision?" And if the answer is no, he does not let it in. Not for pity, not for comfort, not for convenience. No. The watchman chooses truth over emotion, discipline over comfort, power over sympathy. Action steps. Train the gatekeeper. 1. The 72-hour cleanse. For the next 3 days, go on a complete mental detox. No negative media, no violent shows, no scrolling through chaos, no gossip, no complaining, no sarcastic self-talk, no listening to anyone who is not actively building something real. During this time, pay close attention to how your body and mind respond. Notice the withdrawal. Notice the cravings for noise. That is the addiction leaving your system. Let it. 2. The filter phrase. Does this serve the vision? Every time you catch a thought, an image, a conversation, or a piece of content, ask, does this serve the vision of who I'm becoming? If the answer is no, reject it. If the answer is unclear, pause. Reflect. Delay acceptance. Do not allow random ideas into your subconscious domain just because they are entertaining, popular, or emotional. You are not here to be amused. You are here to be armed. 3. Build a sacred space. Designate a physical space in your environment that becomes your watchman station. No distractions, no noise, no passivity, just you, your thoughts, and your vision. This is where you go to review your mission, to refocus, to listen for internal feedback. Spend at least 10 minutes in the space daily. Guarded, clear, aware. You're not meditating here to escape life. You're sharpening the blade to command it. Lesson 3. Still the chaos. Master the inner room. Most people fear silence. They fear being alone with their thoughts. Because when the noise dies, the truth rises. And for most, that truth is unbearable. So they run into endless distractions, into chaos disguised as entertainment, into 1,000 tiny voices that fill the space where discipline and direction should live. But not you. Not anymore. Because if the conscious mind is the watchman, then silence is the training ground. And mastery begins in the inner room. That sacred mental space where you meet yourself without distortion. The world is loud to keep you weak. You've been trained to be uncomfortable in your own presence. Your hand twitches for the phone the second there's a pause. Your mind jumps from worry to worry because it has no command center. Your thoughts, emotions, reactions, they run wild because no one's steering the ship. Silence is not a luxury. It's not a retreat. It's a weapon. Because in silence, you regain command. He who cannot sit still with his own mind cannot be trusted to shape reality. If you cannot control your thoughts, you cannot control your fate. If you cannot direct your awareness, you are a slave to every impulse. If you cannot focus in stillness, your mind will shatter under pressure. You are either the master of thought or the victim of noise. There is no middle ground. Stillness reveals the war within. When you first sit in silence, you will feel the chaos. Thoughts will rush in. Fears will whisper. Regret, anger, doubt, shame. They'll all come marching through your mind like thieves in the dark. Good. Let them come. Because for the first time, you will see them clearly. Not as truth, not as part of you, but as invaders. This is the beginning of separation. The realization that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer, the commander, the watchman. And in this space, you learn to choose your thoughts like a warrior chooses weapons. Action steps. Enter the inner room. 1. Create the ritual. Pick one room or corner of your environment. It must be consistent. Choose one chair, one position. No distractions. Set the same time each day, morning or night, but make it sacred. This is now your inner room. No chaos enters here. This is not for comfort. It is for confrontation. This is where the false parts of you begin to die. 2. The silence drill. Sit in complete stillness for 5 to 10 minutes. No movement, no music, no input. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply and slowly. Inhibit all thought. When a thought arises, don't fight it. Just observe it. Label it. Let it pass like a cloud across the sky. Your only goal, to remain aware of the mind without obeying it. You will fail, often. But each time you pull your attention back to stillness, you sharpen your blade. You are not meditating to escape. You are training for command under fire. 3rd, track the invaders. After each session, open a notebook. Write down the top 3 thoughts or patterns that try to hijack your mind. Label them clearly. Name them. Examples: fear of failure, resentment toward X, mental noise about money. These are the programs currently writing your fate. And by naming them, you begin to remove their power. What you will discover: you will learn that most of your thoughts are not yours. They are echoes from childhood, from media, from trauma. They are old recordings on loop, desperate to survive because your silence threatens their extinction. You'll also discover something deeper, that beneath all that noise, there is a stillness that cannot be broken, a presence, a knowing, a force. That is you, not the identity, not the name, not the mask, but the commander behind the curtain. And once you meet him, you never go back to powerlessness again. Lesson 4. Reprogram the blueprint. Feed the subconscious. You've stood in the silence. You've stared into the chaos. You've witnessed the rogue thoughts, the emotional parasites, the ancient echoes. And now you know the truth. Your reality was never random. Your pain was never accidental. Your failure was never fate. It was all programmed, not by the conscious choices you made while awake, but by the unconscious commands whispered into your subconscious day after day, year after year. The subconscious does not care what you want. It only builds what you believe. If you believe you're not worthy, it doesn't argue. It builds a life where worth is absent. If you believe wealth is evil, it doesn't question. It keeps you broke, consistently, without error. If you believe love always ends in pain, the subconscious doesn't wonder why. It simply repeats the pattern, with brutal precision. The subconscious is not moral. It is not logical. It is not compassionate. It is obedient. And what it obeys is repetition. Whatever is said enough times, whatever is felt deeply, whatever is accepted in moments of emotional vulnerability, that becomes law. And that law becomes your life. You cannot escape the program. You can only rewrite it. You can move cities, change your wardrobe, start new relationships. But if the old programming remains, you will recreate the same nightmare in a new setting. New job, same self-sabotage. New partner, same pattern of collapse. New goal, same wall of hesitation. Why? Because your subconscious blueprint is still running the same outdated, infected code. Until you burn the false code to ash and install the new directive, nothing changes. The power of counter-suggestion. You cannot reason with the subconscious. You cannot debate with it. You cannot threaten it. You must replace its input. Thoughts are like seeds. You don't yank out a weed by hand. You plant something stronger that chokes it out. That's what counter-suggestion is. The deliberate, forceful, emotional implantation of truth into the subconscious through repetition. And if done right, it rewrites your identity and reshapes your fate. Action steps. Begin the reprogramming. 1. Identify the virus. Take out your notebook. Write down 3 core beliefs that have ruled your behavior for years. These are the viruses infecting your subconscious. Look for beliefs like, I always mess things up. I'm not the type of person who succeeds. Money is hard to get. I can't trust people. There's something wrong with me. Don't censor yourself. Get real. Get raw. You can't kill what you won't confront. 2. Write the countercode. Now flip each of those beliefs into a declaration of truth. Not just positive fluff. Truths with teeth. For example, I always mess things up becomes, I execute with clarity and precision. Money is hard to get becomes, I attract wealth because I operate in alignment with power. I can't trust people becomes, I trust myself, and that is enough. Write each one in the present tense as if it's already done. Make it specific. Make it defiant. Make it real. 3. Feed the subconscious. Daily. Speak your counter-suggestions aloud, with emotion, 3 times daily. Morning, afternoon, night. Record your voice saying them slowly, powerfully, and play it while you sleep every night. Say them when you're tired. Say them when you feel fake. Say them when the old voice creeps in. Repetition creates reality. It's not magic. It's mechanics. 4th, act as if. Reinforce the new blueprint through behavior. Act as if the new belief is already true. If your affirmation is, I move with purpose, then every step you take today should be deliberate. If your affirmation is, I create wealth, then make one financial decision today that reflects a wealth identity. This physical alignment cements the mental shift. You are not hoping. You are declaring. You are not wishing. You are building. Lesson 5. See the future. Use visualization as command. If your subconscious is the builder, and your affirmations are the blueprint, then visualization is the command signal. It is the signal you send out to the subconscious and the universal mind, declaring not just what to build, but exactly how it looks, how it feels, and what it becomes. And yet most people visualize only when they worry. They imagine failure, embarrassment, betrayal, disaster, and they do it vividly. They don't call it visualization. They call it anxiety. But make no mistake, it is the same mechanism, and it works perfectly. The subconscious obeys what is vividly impressed with emotion, whether joy or terror, success or destruction. You have always been visualizing. You just didn't know it. And because no one taught you to wield it deliberately, you've been building futures rooted in fear. That ends now. The mind builds what the eye sees. The subconscious mind does not understand words alone. It does not care how eloquent your affirmations are. It obeys images. Images with clarity. Images with repetition. Images charged with emotion. The clearer the image, the stronger the emotion, the faster the manifestation. It's not magic. It's neural command. You are instructing the mind to filter the world through that image. And once the mind accepts that image as real, it begins bending everything toward it. Ideas appear. Paths open. Decisions shift. Your very posture, tone, rhythm, they begin to align. But there is a catch. Most people try to visualize, but they don't believe what they see. They imagine the goal, but emotionally reject it. They say, I'm rich, but feel poor. They say, I'm powerful, but feel weak. They see the image, but fill it with doubt. And so the signal gets corrupted. The subconscious does not act on words alone. It acts on emotion-laced imagery. You must believe it with your nervous system. You must feel the scene until it becomes your reality before reality. That is the secret, and that is the practice. Action steps. Program the vision. 1. Choose the scene. Pick one outcome you want to bring into being. Make it specific. Make it real. Examples. You standing on stage, speaking to thousands. You walking into your dream house. You hitting a milestone that used to feel impossible. This is not fantasy. This is a command center. You are not imagining. You are directing the subconscious with precision. 2. Enter the state. Sit in your inner room. Same chair, same time. Total silence. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. Drop into stillness. Now, step into the image. You're not watching it from afar. You are inside it. See the textures. Hear the sounds. Smell the air. Feel the emotion surging in your chest as if it's happening right now. What does victory feel like in your bones? Let it wash over you. Own it. 3. Make it a ritual. Do this visualization every day for at least 5 minutes, right after your silence or affirmation sessions. Morning is best, before the world gets to you. Each time you do it, go deeper. Don't change the scene. Refine it. Eventually, it becomes automatic. You'll start slipping into the image at random moments of the day. That's when you know it's working. The subconscious is beginning to accept it as real. 4. Speak the command. At the end of every session, seal it with a spoken declaration. This is mine. This is already done. My subconscious is executing the command. Say it with conviction, not hope. Hope is weak. Say it like a general giving orders. Say it like a God shaping worlds. What will begin to happen? At first, nothing seems to change, but slowly, quietly, the world begins rearranging itself around your vision. You meet people aligned with your goal. You feel nudges, sudden insights, strange coincidences, emotional confirmations. Opportunities appear out of nowhere. This is not coincidence. This is command manifesting. Because when the subconscious accepts the image, it begins communicating with the universal mind, the greater field that connects all things, and it pulls you, without effort, into alignment. Lesson 6. Cement the code. Create power habits. You've trained the watchman. You've reprogrammed the subconscious. You've issued the vision. Now comes the test. Because the subconscious doesn't ask what you believe. It watches what you repeat. And repetition, above all else, is what it obeys. That's why belief alone is not enough. Intention alone is not enough. Visualization, affirmation, even vision, are all just soft clay until hardened by habit. If the subconscious is your engineer, then your habits are its bricks. Your actions are either rituals of power or signals of decay. You already have habits. The question is, do they serve you or sabotage you? Everything you do without thinking, your morning routine, your sleep cycle, how you eat, how you speak, how you spend your free time, it's all programming. And the subconscious doesn't care if that program is building a throne or digging a grave. You're not just brushing your teeth. You're telling your subconscious, I maintain order. You're not just skipping the gym. You're telling it, comfort over power. You're not just snoozing the alarm. You're repeating, delay is my default. The body doesn't lie. The patterns don't lie. The ritual is the real identity. What you do in darkness becomes your law in the light. So if you want the new programming to stick, if you want the subconscious to believe the command, if you want your vision to harden into form, you must create power habits. Actions that are aligned with the higher self you've been visualizing, affirming, and becoming. And once those habits are installed, you won't need motivation anymore. You'll move without resistance. You'll act without hesitation. Because the new code won't just be written, it'll be automated. Action steps. Build the machine. 1. Define your identity habits. Look at the version of yourself you visualized in Lesson 5. What does that version of you do every single day? What are their non-negotiables? Their disciplines? Their standards? Pick 3 core daily habits that reflect that identity. Examples: waking up at 5 a.m. with purpose, reading 10 pages of a wealth-building or mindset book daily, training your body with intensity, no excuses, tracking every dollar you earn and spend, cold showers to build resilience, speaking affirmations into the mirror every night. These are not tasks. These are commands, rituals of alignment, sacraments of self-domination. 2. Lock it down for 30 days. Commit to these 3 habits, without exception, for the next 30 days. No breaks, no bargaining, no, I'll do it later. You are not training discipline. You are becoming it. Every single time you follow through, you tell your subconscious, this is who I am now. And eventually, it will believe you. 3. Use habit stacking. Link your new habits to existing ones to create a chain reaction. Example: after brushing your teeth, speak your affirmations. After drinking your morning water, begin visualization. After finishing your workout, read your 10 pages. By tying each new habit to something you already do, you remove friction and cement the pattern faster. This isn't just routine. It's reprogramming at the behavioral level. 4. Track relentlessly. Create a tracker, digital or physical. Mark every completed habit, daily, without fail, not to feel proud, but to reinforce the identity. You are not guessing your way forward. You are documenting the creation of a new being. If you miss a day, start the counter again. Punish the breach, not to suffer, but to maintain the sanctity of the ritual. The subconscious responds to consistency, not emotion, not inspiration, repetition. What will happen? In the beginning, you will resist. Your body will fight back. The old programming will whisper, you've done enough. Rest. Skip just once. You deserve comfort. That is the enemy voice. It is not yours. The moment you obey it, the old blueprint begins to reinstall. The rot creeps back in, and the kingdom cracks at its foundation. But if you hold the line, if you execute without compromise, something shifts. Suddenly, the habits no longer feel forced. They become instinct. You begin moving like the version of yourself you used to only imagine. Not because you convinced your subconscious, but because you proved it. Lesson 7. Walk as the creator. Live from inner power. You've silenced the noise. You've guarded the gate. You've burned the false code. You've installed the vision. You've built the rituals. And now, you walk. Not as the student, not as the seeker, but as the creator. Because at this stage, you're no longer asking, how do I change? You're asking something much more dangerous. What do I want to build next? The old game is over. You no longer live in reaction. You no longer beg for clarity. You no longer depend on circumstance, emotion, or luck. The chains are broken. The programming is overwritten. You are not a product of the world anymore. You are the architect of it. The creator does not ask for permission. He speaks, and the world moves. You have learned to command the mind. You've reprogrammed the subconscious. You've aligned thought, emotion, vision, and behavior. Now you step into the world with internal sovereignty. Because when the inner world is aligned, the outer world must obey. Not immediately, not always cleanly, but eventually, inevitably, because the laws do not lie. They do not care how long you've suffered. They only ask, are you aligned? Are you precise? Are you in motion? And now, you are. This is not confidence. It's certainty. Confidence still doubts. Confidence still hopes. Confidence still wonders, can I do this? But certainty is different. Certainty walks in, knowing the deal is already sealed. Certainty moves with a quiet violence. Calm, composed, unstoppable. You don't need to speak about who you are. You simply walk into rooms, and the air changes. Why? Because you are living proof of the laws at work. You no longer theorize. You embody. Action steps. Live from power. First, declare. Before every step. Before you walk into any situation, an interview, a confrontation, a negotiation, a performance. Pause. And say this to yourself. This reality has already been shaped. I am simply here to walk in alignment with it. Let that truth settle. Breathe into it. Then walk through that door like the outcome is already yours. Because if you've programmed the vision, fed the subconscious, and built the rituals, it is. 2. Lead with energy, not words. Speak less, observe more. Carry the room with your presence, not your volume. You don't have to explain your power. You don't need approval. Let your aura walk 5 feet ahead of you. When you speak, speak deliberately. When you move, move intentionally. Let every action reinforce the subconscious identity you've built. 3. Trust the signals. You've trained your mind to obey. Now trust it. Start paying attention to gut feelings, intuitive pulls, subconscious nudges. They are not random anymore. They are signals from the system you programmed. This is the inner compass, the pathfinder inside you that can see further than logic, faster than analysis. Follow it, even when it defies comfort, especially then. Because the creator doesn't follow trends. He follows the truth within. 4. Teach through presence. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to save anyone. Your existence becomes the lesson. Your results become the sermon. Your energy becomes the proof. And those who are ready will ask, how did you do it? And you will answer, not with noise, but with structure, stillness, and steel. You become a mirror, showing others what's possible, not by force, but by example. What life feels like now. There's still struggle. but no confusion. There is still pain, but no chaos. There are still storms, but the foundation holds. Why? Because the world no longer defines you. You define it. You've replaced reaction with creation, fear with vision, weakness with ritual, doubt with embodiment. You no longer chase power. You are power. To the returning warriors, you already know what this is. You've walked through the fire. You've stared into the abyss and didn't blink. You're not here for entertainment. You're here for evolution. We see you. We honor your discipline. This is your tribe, your temple, your battlefield. And to those of you who are new, this isn't a channel. This isn't a brand. This is a movement for those who refuse to stay asleep, for those who reject weakness as identity, for those who are ready to rebuild themselves from the inside out. No fluff, no sugarcoating, no shortcuts, just raw truth, ruthless structure, and the fire you need to rise. So if you felt something today, deep in your gut, if the voice in this video echoed something ancient inside you, then this is your signal. Subscribe to the GrimFace movement, not just to stay updated, but to stay armed, because we're building a generation of creators. One thought, one action, one warrior at a time, and we're just getting started. GrimFace, control the outcome, or be destroyed by it.